This is where you can see that I am showing you how I just got the motor running, and this is what it looks like without the propeller on, and then it's all working.
Hello, Mr. Sandu. So, this is the primer right here, and this is actually broke. It like cracked right at the top. So I found two others, but they also cracked pretty instantly. So I found this one, and it's pretty new, so it didn't crack. This is the idle. It adjusts the idle. This makes it to go to full choke, half choke, and run. Usually it only works on run. It doesn't like too much fuel. This is the fuel adjustment. If you move this to up here, it will make it richer, run richer, but I realized it worked a lot better if I just put the least amount of gas in. And this is the spark plug, which is actually still works pretty good. So you switch it to here, right in there, that's right where the combustion chamber is. That's where the cylinder and the piston and the crankshaft is all right there. And this is the ignition coil, I guess is what you'd say. This helps pull over the motor. So there's like a spindle disc right at the bottom of the motor that's connected also to the crankshaft. And this wire, when you whip it, it just spins that ignition coil so that it kind of just gets the motor starting in its cycle, so that if there's if it just pumped and there was old burnt gas in there, that it would leave and then new fresh gas would go, and the spark plug would light it, and it would all just start going in this normal cycle. This is the kill switch, the thing that says stop. You just push it and it'll kill it right there. This is the carburetor. The carburetor, right here, these hoses that are connected to the gas they were leaking, so I had to epoxy them, and it's been holding up so far. And I put them onto the carb. You see that? Put them onto the carb, and been working ever since. But they have the tightest fit, so it's very difficult to get them back on there. And the throttle I had to take off because I was just rebuilding to see how everything works. So there's practically just a cable connected to this that goes all the way over to here, all the way to the carb right here. So when you pull this, you can see that it moves, and when it does that, it opens the carb so that more gas, more air, mostly just more gas, gets shoved into the combustion chamber, so that when there's a spark, it'll probably instantly light. But if you have it on full choke, which puts lots of gas, if it's on there too long, there can be too much gas in the chamber, which causes the spark plug to get wet, and when it gets wet, it won't be able to light. So that's when you just have to let it sit, leak off there, and dry up. And so when this ignition coil, there's no clutch on this, so when this starts, it automatically starts spinning this, I guess you call it a rod in a way. And this rod is connected to obviously the motor, the little ignition coil, and it runs, and it's really floppy, and it's actually kind of square, and it runs all the way down this pipe, and just keeps turning it, because if it was a hard metal one, it would move all the way around, if you kind of get what I'm saying, all the way. So when it's floppy and kind of bends, it can just move where you want it to in this rod. And this is just a handle that I might make into a mount for the motor. And this is, right here is the exhaust. I had no problem with the exhaust. The exhaust worked good, wasn't clogged or anything, and yeah, that's everything that I learned on this motor. Thank you. Hi, Mr. Sandu. So you kind of know how this works. We use a pin, we slid it up onto here, and right here we use that little rivet, then we cut that piece of pipe on there, and we tightened it down. and so far it's working pretty good. And we're not allowed to start it right now because we have the sub on and he doesn't like it when I start it. But yeah, that's mostly. Okay, hi Mr. Sandu. This is my drawing of the chainsaw. I'm gonna show what I did. So first of all, right around like right here, this is where the carb is. So let's just write that, carb. And I took that apart, and there's it's like legit. Let's just say it's like that small. And I took it apart, I cleaned it with carb cleaner, and I put it back together. And then right here, there's the air filter. And right here, this is the bar of the chainsaw. I put a new bar, and a new chain, but it came with the chain. And then right here is the trigger. The trigger is kind of more like there, but whatever. It's the trigger. And this is where the motor is. There's like a piston right here. And crankshaft, I guess, going like that. And it's pumping up and down, up and down. And right here, this is where the spark plug would be. Let's just say that is spark plug. And that's what I had to change out. I force feed it with some carb cleaner. And right here is the handle. And I used that. This is like, there's a casing right here, but you know, I don't really want to talk about that because that doesn't really matter. And so this is like the whole chamber right here. This right here, this is like the carb piece. This over, where was it? Oh yeah, right over here. This is like where the exhaust was. Exhaust. And right here, this bar, like behind this, there's a chain, like a lever that when the motor, where this is turning, it goes over here and it's turning these two wheels that have grip. The chain goes up on there. Let's just say this is the chain. And it just gets rotated on this. It just takes it around and around until there. And this there's a few switches right here, and this is for the what's that called? It's for more gas. I can't think of the name right now. So there's like to put high and low, which you can put if you want more gas. This is the one you can go for. If you want less gas, this is the one. When it's cold, you're gonna want to use that one. And when it's like normal and you just shut it off, probably just leave it with like no carb, no carb. And right here, there's a lever, and it is for to engage the chain. And engaging the chain is to make the chain move. And usually at the start, you don't want to engage the chain because it's a little harder for the motor to start when you're just instantly engaging. So you gotta move the whole chain and pump the piston. And this is the crankshaft. Yeah. And it goes in here. This is like a really tight seal here. Then the spark plug would be right there, and they would fire, and the gas would get there, get pushed out to the exhaust. The carb would put in more gas right here, and it just continually keep doing the cycle. And this is a Poulan 250, so Poulan, I think this. What do you spell it? I think I spelled it wrong. 250. And it works really good. I started it, works really good. You had to change a lot of things, but yeah, it worked. And thank you, Sandy. So right now we learn with asking classmates, which is like, we didn't do it very much, but we like asked some classmates. It worked, but like most of the classmates didn't know as much as like we hoped they did. And reading like other people's work, so like that's with the research. So we would go onto the internet and we would read, and we would read about how other people did it and like what the sizes were, and YouTube videos. That's probably my #1 thing that I use. It was something that, like, I'm a visual learner, so seeing how someone actually did it really helps me. And this is something that you didn't like as much. Just like try and then fail. I love doing that, but you just like wanted me to sit there and do the research so that it will just work once and I wouldn't have to fail and then figure it out. So I like this one, but it doesn't work as good as you liked it too. And for everything else, we had to write down what we did, like during when we were on our Clinton engines and stuff, and which was actually very helpful. So like you'd be like piston, and you would draw something, picture like this, and then we would write up what it does, and then we would write the tool size, so that when we put it back together we knew exactly what the tool size was instantly. We didn't have to like screw around with it. So this is something that you liked us to do, and this is what I use towards a lot of my projects, and we'll probably continue using it. And this is my video of how we learn.
Thanks, Mr. Sandu, for teaching me something that I really love to do.